Hey, I'm Harry Cobden. Join me at a chat walk today at Cheltenham.
How are you? You alright?
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
You guys come to Cheltenham, you members? Or?
Yeah, all members.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, all members.
So obviously, you guys know the score here, but that's what we're on today is the new course. This is the old course. So what we're walking on now is the old course. So this is for the first day of the festival, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we use this earlier on in the year, and then it gets rested until March. The new course today is the track that the Gold Cup is run over. We actually don't go down the inside of that because they save probably 4 yards of the inside for the Gold Cup, and that's fresh until the Friday. That's only used once a year. We'll go down to the second last and we'll just basically walk back up and talk about where races are lost and won.
Oh, interesting. What's your favourite moment here at Champion?
Oh, I've had so many good
few
ones.
ones.
Stage Star was a pretty big one when he won the Paddy Power. I suppose my most memorable one, and probably the one that I most enjoyed, was when Top of the Game won the RSA a few years back. I think he was a horse that...
You were all on that day.
Yeah, he was a horse that we didn't really see the best of due to injury, but looking back, I think if there was a horse that I could have ever won the Gold Cup on,
Yeah.
it would have been him. This is our second last today. It's a long run in from the bend down there. You look right down the track there. It's a bloody long way from there to the second last, isn't it? So it's easy to get racing early. You think you're going to win, you jump the second last, and then all of a sudden puke on you, and they fall in a heap where they're just, where you've gone too soon. So I think the key to this track is actually keeping hold of the horse's head and keeping it travelling for as long as possible. Yeah. It's easy to get racing from the third last to the second last. And I think, you look back through the years, that was where Ruby Walsh was so good because he kept hold of the horse and he was the last one off the bridle. But, you land over here and you look up to that track up there.
Appreciate the hill.
Yeah. That red post is a long way away, isn't it?
It certainly is.
If
you don't think it's that far.
No, but if you get racing here and you look up there, you've got a bit of a mountain to climb, and it is a fair pull from here, isn't it?
What's the ideal position? Do you want to be on the inside or wide?
To be honest, I don't think it makes any difference. It's a very fair track once you get over the second last. I don't think you can favour the inside to the outside. It's obviously easier if you're on the inside, isn't it? But at the same time, if you're in second or third, jumping the second last, you've got one to aim at, haven't you, up the running? And you've got a long way. If you can just not bottom them here and half sit up and not commit, do you know what I'm saying? If you can just sort of go quietly from here to the last, and I'm not saying sit up and get a breather, but you're not fully committed. You need to save a bit from the last of the line. That's the most important bit of the race, isn't it? There's only one lollipop. This is the last fence. What we're looking at here is the last fence, and as you can see, it's still a real long way from where we're stood now.
Is it real fencing or is it artificial?
So that is real birch. So they're packed in there pretty tight, but at the same time, if you meet the fence halfway up, there is some leeway. It's not like hitting a brick wall. And the beauty with the birch is that the horses flick through it, so there aren't any cuts or scrapes. So, you get the odd thing, but there aren't any serious lacerations. It's horse friendly, isn't it? So the bottom board here on the fence is what they call the toe board. So that basically helps the horse have a line of where the fence takes off. If the board wasn't there, the horse would still jump. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just there for a bit of guidance and I suppose a bit of help. And this here is what they call the guardrail. And this spruce here is what you call the belly, so that is what makes the fence come out. So rather than the fence being an upright, it's all about presenting the right obstacle for the horse to make it as easy and as friendly for the horse to jump it, and I think this is a well presented fence. You don't see loads of fallers around Cheltenham. When you actually think of how a horse is, sometimes you're thinking this is the ideal place for a horse to take off where we're stood now.
Yeah.
They stand off nearly outside of the wings at some point. So you think of the actual power and the horses are landing out the other side of the fence the same distance as they're taking off. It's incredible really, isn't it? The actual power and the physical brilliance of a living animal like a racehorse to actually do that at 30 plus miles an hour. It's incredible, really, isn't it?
Delta work towards the near side. Santini is right there, and so too is top of the game.
Best feeling I've ever had comes to this fence. Probably in between Nico and Davy Russell on top of the game. That was the best feeling. I just knew I was going to win.
4 of them virtually in line. They come down towards the last. Santini just had the lead. He was out jumped on the inside by top of the game, and top of the game has taken the RSA.
Sounds silly, but you know your fate a long way out.
Yeah.
And if you're travelling well, and I just remember that day coming down the hill, all I had to do was not make any mistakes at the second last or the last and just keep him in that right position, and I knew he had enough to get up the hill. But I think the more rides you have, the more experience you get, and the better you cope with everything, you know, from even pre-race nerves to riding the horse down to the last. I wouldn't say I get nerves because you ride every day, you know. It's be like you guys going to the office if you're excited about your job or not. But
Some days are better than others, though.
exactly
surely,
that.
so.
You know, Hereford on a Monday is not quite as exciting as Cheltenham on a Saturday, I must admit, you know. The big days is what we do it for, and that's what it's all about. Riding the horse is actually the easy bit.
It's all the planning and preparation.
It's all the rest of it that goes into it.
Logistics.
And you know, a trainer can train a horse for 12 weeks, prime it for a race, and the jockey can mess it up in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure from the owners and the trainers to get it right on the day, but I think that's where I'm personally at my best on a big day, because they're the ones that professional jockeys want to get right, and
Yeah.
I quite like the pressure aspect of it. I think the strategy is to get a ride in every race. You can't win it if you're not in it, can you?
Isn't it tiring though, going from one race straight on to the next race to the next race?
Do you know what, it sounds silly, but I would rather ride the first 5 races and go home rather than riding the first and the last. I just feel like you're wasting a day sat in the waiting room watching.
Itching to get back out
Yeah,
there.
exactly that. And when you're riding every day as well, you're like, use Sam Tristan Davis as an example. If Sam's riding in 7 races, I guarantee you by his 7th race he could ride in 7 more. Like you're not physically exhausted because you're riding so much. I can't explain to you how fit some of these boys are that are riding. You know, a lot of them are like David Noonan would run 2 or 3 laps of the track today and then go and have 4 rides. We're at the finish line. This is where it all matters, and hopefully I'm in front today.
Well done.
Well done, cracking.
Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you all.
And you, Harry.
Thank you.